Hi, my name is Adam S. Want. I'm a professor at John Jay College of Criminal Justice, which is part of the City University of New York. I serve as the Deputy Chair for Academic Technology of the Department of Public Management at John Jay College, and I'm also the Chair and a Senior Researcher with the CUNY Skunk Works Group, which is CUNY's Academic Technology Research and Development Group. I'm here to discuss and present some of my work that I've been doing on ebooks. I've been putting together a plan that I call CUNY eBooks. This is not an official plan of CUNY, but one that I will be presenting to CUNY in an open letter and paper discussing how I think we should go about as an academic community going forward with textbooks and ebooks moving forward. And the reason is because there is chaos right now in the industry, absolute chaos. It's becoming a fairly significant problem. We have students who are being charged way too much for their textbooks. Their textbooks are too heavy. CUNY is full of commuter students that have jobs and families, and they're running around on the subways and the buses and the trains, and we're asking them to carry large textbooks with them wherever they go, and many times they can't get them to work, they can't bring them around with them, and they can't even afford them in the first place. So the students are very, very frustrated. They don't have the money. Their tuition keeps going up. What do they do? At the same time, the students aren't the only people that are frustrated. The faculty are frustrated because the students aren't getting the textbooks. They're either not buying the textbooks or they're not reading from the textbooks because the moments and the times the students have to read the textbooks, they don't have the textbooks with them. It would be wonderful if there was a library on the A train where you could always have your books with you, but that's not how it is. So sometimes the time that you want to study, you just don't have the stuff or equipment with you. So students and faculty members are not the only people who are worried right now. The publishers are also worried, and the publishers are having a really hard time wrapping their minds around this. Publishers are used to publishing paper textbooks with several chapters. Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3. But with this ebook revolution, the publishers are getting really worried because the only chapter that they are starting to see is Chapter 11. The publishers are having a really hard time wrapping their minds around this ebook idea. Different publishers have gotten together in different consortiums, and they're trying to figure it out, but there's still so many competing interests. No one is really the leader at this point, and that's why I'm asking CUNY to become the leader. I believe that CUNY, with its 22, 23 plus institutions and its 500,000 students, when you talk about undergraduate, graduate, and continuing education, with our 500,000 students, we should be the leader, and we should start a program called CUNY eBooks, which saves our students a boatload of money. My idea here works off of three principles. Principle number one: students need affordable access to required textbooks. You can't be asking a student to pay $200 for a textbook and then $100 for another textbook or supplement in a class because they're not going to be able to do it, or a majority of your students won't be able to do it. Even if they could do it, many times they keep having to put it off and put it off and put it off until they can actually afford it, that the semester's half over and they've lost so much education. So, principle one: students need affordable access to required textbooks. Principle two: ebooks are the future. We know ebooks are the future. The Republic of South Korea right now may be the worldwide leader in ebooks. The Republic of South Korea has passed a mandate that K through 12 must all be upgraded to ebooks by 2015, just a few years from now, like 4 years from now, 3 years from now. And if the Republic of South Korea could get all of their K through 12 on ebooks by then, what are we doing wrong that we can't use our newest technology in this country to really get this to go forward? Ebooks are the future. We know that. I think people at this point are starting to agree with that. But my third principle, which is one of the most important ones, are the publishers must show good faith and work with us together Everyone could win. They need to work with us towards a fair future, and everyone could win. You see, the publishers right now are having a very serious problem. Students are not buying new textbooks. So the publishers are panicking because the used textbook market and the uncertain ebook market are causing huge turbulence in the textbook industry right now. Publishers are going crazy trying to figure out how to stay in business going forward. And we know that there are things that could be done, and different publishers are trying different things to try to survive right now. But I think that if CUNY comes forward with a plan, a reasonable plan, a plan that publishers could wrap their mind around, that the publishers would agree to it and we would all move forward towards a better future. And not only do I think the publishers would like this, the publishers have told me they have liked this. I have already met with several of the largest publishers in the country, and they have expressed extreme interest in this program because of how it works. So here's how it works. Everyone has some device today. Most people have some device today. Let's say it like that. Whether you're talking about access to a laptop, whether you're talking about access to a phone or a BlackBerry or an Android or a library computer or a laptop loan from their local college, most people have access to these things. And ebooks are much cheaper for textbook publishers to publish. Textbook publishers would rather not have to print out all that hard paper, ship it out, get it into the bookstores. There is a carbon footprint that is unimaginable related to it. Publishers have huge costs with color textbooks. So, the publishers really don't want to be printing books, and they've said we would love to print ebooks, we just can't figure it out. So the first notion here is that the publishers will love this idea, and they do love this idea because they really want to go to ebooks. CUNY's going to love this idea because we have 500,000 students. And if we could use a simple principle of economies of scale, if we could team up 500,000 students, and if we could get them all in the same place at the same time to buy their textbooks, and if the publishers know that the textbooks are going to be bought by these students, then the publishers will give us unbelievable prices. This program I'm putting forward, and you'll see how it unravels in a moment, is kind of similar to Groupon. We've all heard about Groupon, right? If a bunch of people agree in advance to go somewhere and do something, they could buy a discounted coupon. But what it really requires is two things. And those are the two things that my program requires. It requires a bunch of people, and it requires paying in advance. Because if you have a bunch of people who are willing to pay in advance, I guarantee you the textbook industry will change forever. Now, when I say pay in advance, there is some bad news, and it's news that makes students uncomfortable. You see, students have had their tuition risen and risen. It keeps raising and raising. Students, especially in CUNY right now, are really upset. They're really panicking because their tuition keeps going higher and higher and higher. This program is in response to that. This program is to save them money in the long run, save them a significant amount of money in a long run. But in order for us to save you money, you have to pay in advance, and that's the complication. Because what I would like to introduce is the idea of using a fee. Yes, I know students are getting very upset right now, and so are faculty, and so are everyone else, because when you mention fees, people get tense. People get upset. Not another fee. We just paid fee for student activities and technology and everything else. Why should we have to pay another fee? And my answer to those students who are asking why should we have to pay another fee is if you pay a small fee up front, you will not have to pay for your more expensive textbook later. You will pay a fraction of what you would have paid for that textbook as long as everyone agrees to get it and everyone agrees to pay up front. And I know the fee sounds evil, but what the fee will allow us to do is work with publishers to ensure that every ebook costs a maximum of 20% of the MSRP. 20% of the MSRP of a standard textbook. This means that if you went to the bookstore today and were going to buy a new book for $100, or a used book for $50 or $60, the ebook would have cost you $20. So for every $100 of textbook you would buy as a student, you would now be paying $20. How do you save 80%? How does it work? It's because 100% of our students would be buying the textbook as the ebook as part of a fee. We're using economies of scale. We're guaranteeing publishers that they will have the business, and we're paying for it up front as a fee with tuition. If we can do those two things, if we could agree on those two things, I believe I can convince publishers to give us the ebooks at 20% of what the textbooks would have cost. And nothing as part of this plan could cost more than $35. Not even the most expensive textbook on the market would ever cost more than $35, because I believe that students paying $35 should be enough for any textbook. But it gets better. I also want to work with the publishers to have the textbooks available at a discount as well. And I want that discount to be 75% of MSRP, or what you would be paying in the bookstore. And I want students to be able to upgrade from the ebook to the textbook if that student wants. You would sign into like the CUNY portal, right? And you'd bring up the screen at the beginning of the semester. So the students would sign in to the CUNY portal, and then they would access the CUNY ebook access page. This is a mock-up that I've created to kind of give you the idea. But so if John B. student signs in, he sees his books. He sees for PAD 715 his research methods books. He's already paid for the ebook. He's already paid 20% of MSRP. So for this research methods book, let's just assume it's a $100 book. If he went to the bookstore, he would have paid $100 for it new, maybe $70-something for it used. So here our student is paying the $20 already. He has access to the ebook. He's already paid his 20% as part of tuition. He clicks on the ebook link. It would open. He'd be able to access his ebook. Or he has another option. He could pay the upgrade fee. He could pay the 55% extra to get him from 20% of MSRP to 75% of MSRP. He could pay a small upgrade fee, and the publisher will mail him the textbook with free shipping. So he never loses out. He has his textbook, he has the ebook for 20%, and now the student could upgrade and get the textbook mailed to him, free shipping, direct from the publisher. Now, the most beautiful part about this is how the profits are split up, because the money comes back to the students even further. When you look at the profits, if you look at what the students will be paying as a fee, 80% of that goes right to the publisher. So out of the $20 that you're paying for your textbook as a student, for your $100 textbook, the publisher gets 80% of that, and they're happy. They've been paid. They know that that money is guaranteed because it's part of your tuition as a fee. 10% goes to program administration. It goes to running this whole system. We are going to have to create something that's like iTunes for the publishing industry. We're going to have to shape a new piece of software and run it and maintain it. It's going to cost a fortune. We don't want to have to charge extra for that. We don't want to have to find extra money. We're going to take it right out of that money, right out of the fee. So 10% goes towards program administration. And then 10% goes back to the college and the campus bookstores. Some colleges have campus bookstore arrangements with contracts, and we're going to need to satisfy those contracts, and we're possibly going to need to change and alter those agreements. And the colleges are going to need money to do that. So 10% will go back towards the college campus, and it will go towards satisfying those campus bookstore agreements. And once those campus bookstore agreements are satisfied, it will go towards improving the life of students on campus. Now, here's the most important part of this program. I haven't even really gotten to it yet. I'm going to compare it to Amazon, because I think the Amazon Kindle format is really cool, and it really helps people understand this whole idea. But I'm not talking about using the Amazon Kindle format. I don't think that's appropriate here. But what we need to do is what Amazon did. And what we need to do is assure every single student that their ebook is device agnostic. They should be able to access their ebook wherever they are on whatever device they want. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you're using an iPhone in Chicago when you're on vacation, or if you're using an iPad on the train, or if you're using your laptop in your dorm room or your home, or you're using a school desktop. It doesn't make a difference. World Wide Web, Mac, PC, we need to make sure that students can access their readings on all devices at all times. Now, the benefits of this are that students will start reading more often. They will be able to read wherever they are, wherever they're sitting on the train, wherever they have their devices, when they have a 20 or 30-minute break. We also need to make sure that not only could the students read, but they could also annotate and take notes, and those notes and annotations have to sync wirelessly across the platform with no effort whatsoever. Students will be so much better off, I believe, under this plan, and I want you to tell me whether or not you agree. This program is also hyper-scalable, and it's why I think CUNY really needs to take a look at it, because there are tons of colleges and students in the United States, and if we get it right as CUNY, a university in Nebraska might say, wow, CUNY, you've gotten it right, but we're not going to make the investment into running the system ourselves. We're not going to recreate the wheel. We're not going to recreate the software. We're not going to renegotiate with the publishers. Let our students use your system and license your system to get ebooks at a tremendous discount. And I bet you when that happens, when we start, if CUNY ever takes this up, I bet you see colleges all around the country wanting to do that. And the best part is CUNY still always gets the 10% of the cost. So money will be coming back to CUNY. It will be an infinite revenue stream for CUNY if this works, and I believe it will. An infinite revenue stream, because all the college campuses around the country, if they sign on to this, 80% always goes back to the publisher, 10% always comes back to CUNY for program administration, and obviously after the program has enough money for administration, the rest of that money would be dispersed into CUNY for money that's really well needed. 10% still goes back to the non-CUNY campus. So if the University of Nebraska signs on to this system, the University of Nebraska knows they're doing so, they're going to always get back 10% of those profits for their own end of the administration. This can't happen tomorrow. This is a multi-year project. I believe it's a 5-year project. I think it would take 5 years for the publishers to get the rights that they need to publish the materials in the way that we want them. I think it would take 5 years to negotiate with the publishers. I think it would take 5 years to write the software and get the students ready. I think it would take 5 years, and I think 5 years is a great amount of time, and it's well worth it. If we start today, 5 years from now, students will be paying 80%. And, you know, they don't even have to wait 5 years, because we might be able to get this done quicker. If you look at my time frame, in year 3, we're already starting limited trials and limited classrooms, or with limited students. And by year 4, we would ask for entire campuses in the CUNY system to voluntarily sign on to the system. And if it works well by year 5, hopefully this could be CUNY-wide. Again, we promise the publishers 100% of our students will be buying textbooks. They will give them to us very, very affordable. So, I want your comments and I want your feedbacks, because my plan is not perfect. It can't be. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what your questions are, and I want to answer them. Help me vet this program to ensure that our students have a brighter future, that they're paying significantly less for the books that we're assigning them, and that they're able to have them with them wherever they are and read them. I'm putting this out right now. It's going to be hosted. This video is hosted on YouTube, but I'm asking you to go to my blog on the CUNY Academic Commons. The blog is called Academic Technology in Higher Education. The blog is available at want.commons.gc.cuny.edu. If you're a member of CUNY, please, you should be using the Commons. It's a wonderful resource for information. If you're not a member of CUNY, you can still comment on this blog. And I would like you, please, to give me your feedback on what you think about this program. If we all work together, if we use simple economic principles such as economy of scale, if we can get over the fact that we have to pay a small fee up front, I believe your average student will start saving 80% on their textbooks if they're buying them new, and at least 40 to 50% on their textbooks if they're buying them used right now. And more important than that, faculty members, students will have textbooks. They will have access from day one, not 4 weeks in, not halfway through, not at the end of the class. Let's work together. Let's create a brighter future. My name is Adam Want. I'm a professor at John Jay College of Criminal Justice, and this is my plan that I will be presenting to CUNY on what I think CUNY should do to be a leader in ebooks in America. Thank you.